Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Is it recording?
Yeah. So imagine this. You're in a car accident and all the emergency trucks are coming and the patient is in critical injury and EMS transports them to the ER, and now imagine that you're this patient and you're running through the ER doors, and the first people to meet you at the door are the trauma nurses. So what would happen if the trauma nurses weren't there? You didn't have them to be there for you, or that you didn't have qualified nurses to meet you at the door and they didn't know what to do. You'd want to know your trauma nurse. As humans, we are susceptible to injury, and critical injury at that. So we need to be aware of what a trauma nurse is, what they do, and the things that may affect their job. I am a nursing student. I actually start nursing school this coming fall. I have worked in nursing homes and hospitals. I have been certified with CPR and BLS through the American Heart Association. I also have my CNA through the Texas State Health Administration. I have seen trauma cases that have rolled in through NICU and L&D. I have been trained to work on mom and baby, NICU, and labor and delivery floors. And I've also worked on rehab floors in nursing centers. So, I've seen a lot of traumatic injury cases that have come up, and I have decided that after I graduate nursing school, I will become a trauma nurse and pursue that career through extra schooling and certifications through hospitals. So, now that I have told you about this, the demand for trauma nurses continues to grow due to the high-stress work environment and increasing mental and emotional effects of the job. As the demand for trauma nurses increases, there has been research done as to why there are negative effects on their health, and it is our duty to become aware of what these effects are. So now that I've given you a general idea of what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to discuss more about what it takes to be a trauma nurse and the mental and emotional effects that they face. Trauma nursing is a specialized branch of nursing that has negative effects on the emotional and mental health of an individual. As I have stated, trauma nurses are highly specialized and they work with critical care patients. So, an article posted on nurse.org said that they care for critical life-threatening injuries and that it takes specialized training for them to become a trauma nurse. Additionally, because of the high pressure and extreme work conditions, they do experience mental and emotional effects that may also affect their job. There is a form of mental illness called stress or secondary traumatic stress, which is a form of PTSD from dealing with someone else's trauma. And this came from an article from the Journal of Trauma Nursing in 2014. Additionally, it has been stated in the Journal of Trauma Nursing from 2017 that nurses often feel overwhelmed, horrified, and helpless when working with traumatic patients and their families. So now that we've looked at what is expected of trauma nurses and the negative health effects that they may face, let's take a look at why trauma nurses are in high demand. Trauma nurses are in high demand due to the nursing shortage in our country, especially in the emergency department, because qualified trauma nurses are continuing to grow. So, stated on multibriefs.com, trauma nurses are an integral part of the development of healthcare and treatment for critical patients. Additionally, the nursing shortage continues to grow as baby boomers retire and as the health of the aging population deteriorates. And that was an article that I found on nurse.org. Also, becoming a trauma nurse requires more schooling or certifications, which can lead to higher burnout rates. So, an article posted on the Journal of Trauma Nursing in 2014 states that burnout can be caused by coping strategies such as using certain medicines or going to counseling. Additionally, it can also be caused by the exposure to trauma and the more hours per shift that they work. On multibriefs.com, an article published said that being a trauma nurse takes special dedication because of how emotionally taxing that the job is. So So as I conclude, remember that trauma nursing is a highly specialized group of nurses that work in high-stress environments and experience negative mental and emotional effects due to the work that they conduct. So, as I've stated earlier in my speech, the demand for trauma nurses continues to grow due to high-stress work environments and increasing mental and emotional effects of the job. So, as we've learned, trauma nursing is a highly specialized form of nursing, and they deal with critically ill or injured patients. Most of the time, or a majority of the time, they can have mental and emotional effects that affect their job and the work that they conduct. So, trauma nursing is a very difficult job and it's very stressful, but it is also very rewarding, especially when they are able to save patients.